Boy, what a great gathering it is. It's so much fun to be here. David Ronsley, Darren Sutton, we're at Jupiter, but we're not just live at Jupiter. At the 2023 World Wood Bat Association World Championship, the 25th edition, a game and an event that has so many Major League alumni. We're back in the Quad. This is a spring training complex in Jupiter, Florida, that is shared by the St. Louis Cardinals and the Miami Marlins. This is a complex that becomes Perfect Games Complex one of the weeks in October, usually later in the month of October, this year earlier in October. The history is rich, and we begged, we pleaded, can you please bring our show out to the Quad? They've done it. We're glad you're with us on Perfect Game TV. Vice President of Player Personnel. David, this is 24 Jupiters for you. That means you've seen guys like Joey Votto, who may be retiring, play at Jupiter. How great is it to be at this event, A, and B, out here at the Quad? It's almost like a town fair meets a baseball tournament.
It is definitely great, Darren. It's one of the greatest experiences you can have in baseball, just coming to Jupiter. I tell that to people all the time. You've got to go to Jupiter once. We have, with our always growing Perfect Game scouting staff, we have some young scouts. I was talking to them yesterday. You're not going to believe what you see here with the golf carts, with the number of college coaches, the scouts, the whole atmosphere. It's a baseball festival in its purest form at the amateur level.
So what you're seeing is not a stadium, and we had the opportunity to be in the stadium, and we did last year. It's by design that you're out on a quad, that you're out looking at Field 6 in the Marlins complex. A lot of you that are watching, this is your space. You understand it. That's why you're here. A lot of you that are finding us are wondering why this random field, and you can see the lifts in all of our shots, and the way we, and our booth, by the way, is not behind home plate because that's the space in our minds designated for the scouts. We're off to the left. We wanted to leave space for the scouts. This is such a scouted event.
Oh, it is. There's no event in baseball at any level that is more scouted than the official title WWBA National Championship. Everybody calls it Jupiter. We're going to call it Jupiter, but there's no other event like it.
Lone Star is a team out of Texas. Power Baseball is a team out of Florida. They won the summertime version of this. When you take a look at these names, who jumps out to you? Anyone that we should look at right away?
Well, Ty Head is the highest-ranked player here. He played on that team that won the 17U WWBA, had a great series there. He's really skyrocketed in the rankings. A big 6'3", 195-pound left-handed hitter with all the tools. Thomas Bly's their big middle-of-the-order hitter. You know, ranked 133rd, 6'4", 215, big right-handed hitter. But this is a lineup that's going to score some runs, no doubt.
Yeah, it's exciting. Head coach is Brian Dempsey, and his staff, they're worth introducing. They've done so many good things. Dempsey, Eric Lassiter, and Jesse Marlowe, they're the three co-founders of this great organization, Power Baseball. Ray Evans is part of the coaching staff as well. Lassiter, head coach, Windermere High School, former high school teammates with Zach Greinke. When we talk about Eric Lassiter, Marlowe is the head coach at West Orange High School. He's coached dozens of draft picks over the last 20 years. Brian Dempsey, the owner of Turn 2 sports facility, handling day-to-day ops of Power Ace Baseball. And Ray Evans is a National High School Hall of Famer, 30 years of coaching in the great state of Florida, winning multiple state championships. J.D. Martinez, he's in the playoffs now. J.D. played for him. You've seen from, like we said, Joey Votto, Alex Fernandez, late Alex Fernandez pitch here. David, when you look at the alumni of this event, what makes it fun, and I feel like sometimes people would think it's hyperbole, but there are nearly 1,200 MLB alumni of this event. If you play in the big leagues and you're a North American-born player, and some Caribbean-born players, you've probably played in this event.
Oh, no doubt about it. And yes, there are plenty of players here from Puerto Rico, and in recent years we've gotten much more active with working with the agents and stuff, getting top Dominican, top Venezuelan players here. Of course, Carlos Correa was brilliant here when he was entering his draft year. So it's a real mix of players, but the commonality is future big leaguers play in here, and the list is incredible.
Yeah, help me understand, too, because a lot of times you'll get a summertime pitcher who's a top, let's say 100 pitcher, and he's really emptied the tank in the summertime. Some pitchers may say, I think I might pass on this event, with good reason. It's wise, right?
Yeah, that's one of the real evolutions in the history of Jupiter. Is back in the day, I remember watching Shelby Miller and Tyler Matzik pitch against each other with 1,000 scouts watching. You know, watch Scotty Kazmir, watch Jose Fernandez. those same pitchers are not at Jupiter anymore. They've been throwing since January, February, and they are generally shut down, the All-American caliber pitchers. So with a couple of exceptions, we're not going to see those famous arms that we saw, at the All-American Classic just a month and a half ago. But we're still going to see a lot of breakthrough pitchers here. We always talk about the guys we didn't know about. Dustin May came here as a complete unknown from Lubbock, Texas, or Amarillo, Texas. I can't remember which one. And we'd never seen him before. And this 6'6" guy with the big red mane of hair is out there throwing 94 over on Marlins 4. And that word got around quick when that happened. The scouts are all gossiping. There's a lot of teams have literally one scout per field for the this year 12 fields. And they are responsible for communicating with their cross-checkers, their scouting directors, and if there's a Dustin May popping up, they'll go, hey, everybody needs to get to Marlins 4 right now. I got a guy.
Awaiting the arrival of our umpires, our teams. Everything's pretty fluid when you have games starting at 8 in the morning, so this doesn't bother us. We're glad to have these conversations. There are players, too, David. This is a real senior-heavy event. In other words, many 24s. But there are some travel teams that will bring along some of their babies, if you will, some 25s, 26s, and allow them the opportunity to take a look at this level of competition. And it's good for those players should they opt to take it on.
Oh, no doubt. We'll see a couple of top 20, 25s, not only in this game, but throughout the week. And that's another change, along with the less of the premium pitchers being here, is the growth of more and more underclassmen. Because the idea here is to win. This is not a showcase. Every team is here to win. Some teams, they want to get to the playoffs. There's a group of maybe 20 teams, 25 teams that are here to win. They've got their roster. So if there's a 25 or a 26, it's better than the 24 they have access to. He's going to be in the lineup, and he's going to play a prominent role.
You see those good-looking uniforms. Again, as we talked about for Power Baseball, Orlando area, Florida-based. They were the winners this summertime of Perfect Game 17U WWBA National Championship. Played at the East Cobb Complex, the historic East Cobb Complex in Marietta, Georgia. On the other side for Lone Star Baseball, they are Austin-based, Austin, Texas-based. So you'll have players from Texas in the pretty baby blue uniforms. Reynald Mendoza is leader of the coaching staff. He was born in Eagle Pass, Texas. Reynald had a very strong history as a player, playing professionally. Also as a coach, has been a pitching coach for the Kane County Cougars and is the Eagle Pass high school varsity head coach. And the USA Baseball women's national team pitching coach as well. So Mendoza, the head coach of this Lone Star team, has a unique touch to the sport, and it makes it a lot of fun. Yeah, I think you brought up something that I want to peel back just a little bit more. I think a lot of people look at travel baseball and do talk about the fact that, it is many elements of it are showcase driven, and I understand that. But I think that the best part about it, we'll see reactions starting today, tomorrow, the next day, where we will see dugouts empty. And at Field 6, it's more of like a cage opening up because it's a traditional backfield dugout. But we're going to have a lot of energy in these games, different than maybe you would have at a PG showcase.
Oh, no doubt. You will have arguments between umpires and coaches. You will see coaches with honest emotion. You will see players, if there's a big play, especially in the late innings, where, like you said, the dugouts just explode open. They're all playing to get into the playoffs, to get into play, especially on Monday. But every moment is magnified. These are under PG tournament rules. Each game is 7 innings. It has a 2-hour time limit. You can't start an inning after 2 hours, so they'll play fast. Anybody who says, well, we need a time clock to play fast, no, these guys are all aware that it's in their best interest to keep playing, play fast, especially if you're behind early. So the pace of play will be different. The intensity level will be different. And just the whole atmosphere around the ballpark is different than really any other event, in amateur baseball.
Just over 100 teams playing in this event this year, and as we talked about, Major League alumni of 1,156. There have been nearly 6,500 players drafted as we play the 25th year of this event. The reigning champs, the top-tier 5-star Ruse Mafia, a combo team, if you will, last year of the Ruse program, and then, of course, a 5-star program as well. The top-tier program got together, merged. We'll have a broadcast with that same team coming up a little bit later on today, as a matter of fact. Ostingers baseball, a group out of that same part of Florida where you see the power baseball team. GBG won the pandemic year, the Team Garcia Para baseball group back in 2020. Florida Burn won it back-to-back years. I can't even tell you, David, when you have 100 teams and they're all playing to win, it's crazy to win this event back-to-back years.
Yeah, and there's right before the Florida Burn won their back-to-back years, Canes baseball won 4 out of 5 years, once with their junior team. It is not unprecedented that a group of underclassmen will do that. In 2017, the Canes prospect team won. But, there's a lot of common names that are always going to be contenders for this. They're the same programs like Power Baseball with the 17U WWBA that are the top teams at virtually all events. But, last year's really top tier and 5-star, all the solid programs, that was a bit of a surprise. 2021 with Ostingers, that was a bit of a surprise. So, it's always alive for an underdog to emerge and have a great 5 days here in Jupiter.
Yeah, we're seeing our umpires make their way in. We'll get started as soon as they are ready to go. But it is interesting, too, when you talk about the surprise teams. You have to have a deep team full of prospects, but this is my simple-minded look. You've done 24 of these. This is my 10th. You have to have some different arms. Now, you could win this event. You need you need your 90s prospect arms, 90s up to the mid-90s. But I think if you've got a side-arming left-hander, if you've got a young man that throws 82 from a different arm angle, from the right side, I think different looks also win games too. Fair?
Yeah, very fair, but also depth. If you look, like the main difference between these two teams, Lone Star and Power, is that Lone Star only has 6 primary pitchers on their staff. And yes, a number of secondary, primary position players or pitchers. In fact, we'll see one to start this game. But usually a team like the Canes or like GBG and stuff, they will have 12 to 14, even more primary pitchers. And that gives them the depth to play 8 games in 5 days. And especially, and I think everybody at this level of baseball is used to the pitch smart rules. It used to be a player like a Tyler Danish is probably the most famous pitcher ever in PG for his performance and throwing 5 games in 5 days for Chet Lemon's Juice back in the early 2000s. But you need those arms because you're going to go through all of them, and they all better be effective.
That's Ty Head. He's a young man out of Winter Garden, Florida, number 10 with the sock tied around his head. He's the number 11 outfielder in the country, left-handed hitter, talented player, as you said, one of the key players to watch. NC State commit, top 50 player overall, and a player probably just knocking on the door of being a PG All-American.
Yeah, just when you see that 49 ranking, you're like, wait a minute, the All-American game had 62 players in it. He's inside that, and that's a reflection of how well he's played, since the team was selected in mid-July, and just a young player who fits all the profile with the speed, the size, the left-handedness, the athleticism. Definitely a guy that scouts are going to be bearing down on here.
Yeah, he will bat in the 2 spot in the lineup, Ty Head. Great athleticism, 88 from the outfield with his arm at National Showcase. Ran, as you said, 6'5" speed. We're just excited to bring you a game with this kind of energy, and we're going to bring you 9 games. We're going to bring you 2 games a day. So if you're out west, you're catching us early in the morning. If you're on the East Coast time zone, understand this. It's about this time window. We're running a little bit behind today, but somewhere around 10:20 each day, we will be here. Today is Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 10:20. Have a brief break, and then we'll be at the following game around 12:40. We'll have those 2 games for you every day. And then on Monday, we will have the championship game for you as well. Now, we'll give you a bit of a heads up. As exciting as the championship game will be, there will be energy and hollering and great play on the field. It'll be a little quieter out here at that point. A lot of the teams have gone home. A lot of the scouts have turned in their carts. It'll be a little bit more quiet, but it still is the championship game.
It still, no doubt, is the championship game. Yeah, there's almost baseball fatigue at that point after so much baseball over 5 days. And really, we started yesterday. We had maybe 20 exhibition games yesterday that got teams the ability to get on the field, maybe get some nerves out, maybe to throw some of their young pitchers that they'll need later in the week. We had a little showcase yesterday that I worked, a little workout showcase with some of the players here who wanted to post their numbers and such. So we were busy yesterday, too.
That was a fun shot a minute ago. You could just spin our high home camera around and see, you got Marlins 4. You could see it up in the corner and a pitcher working in a game. You can, if you're a scout here, if you're a college coach, Not everyone's committed at this event, and some college coaches attend. Help me understand. Some college coaches actually attend this event to just keep an eye on their signees, correct?
Oh, no doubt at all. The two starting pitchers today, Perez for Lone Star, he's a University of Houston commit. He's going to be in there. You know, Ryan Ashford, who's starting for Power Baseball, is a Miami commit. I'm sure the Miami staff is going to be here just to watch it, to support, you know, FaceTime, you know, just show that support.
Tony Hernandez is our home plate umpire. Antonio Pinzon is our umpire out in the field. So it'll be a two-man crew. Antonio Pinzon on the bases. Our senior producer, Jim Jenks, dropping by with that info. Thank you, sir. Tony Hernandez behind the plate. Antonio Pinzon in the field. We're just about ready to go. Lone Star readying themselves to, looks like, take the diamond defensively. It looks like the power team will swing it first with Maddox McDougal at the top of the order. Chris Perez takes the walk to the mound. It is Perez going to work for Lone Star, so we'll watch Chris out of Taylor, Texas. University of Houston commit. Iceman, they call him. It's going to be fun to watch him work. District MVP a couple of years ago. Outstanding arm. Had 140 strikeouts in a high school season, breaking multiple records. And this is an athlete that is excited for the Philadelphia Phillies. That's who he's pulling for to win the World Series. We asked each athlete who's going to win the World Series, so we'll lightly share that with you. But meet Chris Perez out there on the mound.
Yeah, actually a primary outfielder. I think his future is on the mound. As, you know, 140 strikeouts in a high school season, that you really don't need to know much more than that. But he's been up to 90 at PG events, is a strike thrower, which you always want to hear. But this starting pitching matchup, what teams do, Lone Star and Power know that in their pool, the pool plays consist of 4 teams each. So we have, 25 pools of teams, and they identify what team is their biggest challenge to winning the pool championship, which is an automatic, you know, trip to the playoffs. And they will pitch their best pitcher against the best team that they identify. And you can tell by the choice of starting pitchers, these teams know that this is their most important game, their must-win game in pool play to get that automatic bid or spot in the playoffs.
I'm going to give you the scouting report that he shared with us. I always think that's fun. He said, I control the game from the mound. Multiple off-speed pitches to complement a fastball that's 89 to 91 that, and I quote, cuts like a knife. I can work late into games. I will walk batters, reason for that high whip that he has, but I stay composed. I work out of most jams. I'm still young. I'm still growing.
Yes.
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, Jack Caglione may be the #1 overall pick next year, and he's still working on walking batters. So on the mound.
Yes.
While hitting home runs, as we talk about with the bat in his hand. So we're ready to go. Had a little bit of a lead up. We're excited to be here now.
Yeah, a little surprised this game is starting late. Maybe just a little bit of nerves and organizational first game jitters getting the umpires out to the field. But we always mark the time, of course. We're starting at 10:41, and that might come into play when it comes into time limits.
Maddox McDougal will lead it off. He's out of Wesley Chapel, Florida. Jacksonville State University commit. First pitch is a fastball that rides high, 1-0 the count. We're glad you're with us. McDougal, the son of Marshall and Melissa. And there are 4 McDougals at home. Maddox is the oldest. Right in the back chalk of that batter's box. Bouncing ball, left side, base hit, left field, snuck it right on through, and Maddox off to a good start.
Yeah, get rid of the no-hitter notions right away. And we'll do our best to bring you some base scouting information with velocities and such as the game goes by.
I'll let you manage that.
I'll manage that.
I like that stuff. Here's Ty Head. We were just talking about it. NC State commit, slightly open stance, left-handed bat. The breaking ball hits that number 10 on the back of his jersey. You can already hear a little bit of energy from those dugouts. This is not a showcase game. And it's a morning game, too, by the way.
And don't mistake the nerves. It's something we often forget about, even with showcases, whether big or regional showcases. Don't forget the nerves and the fact that these are still 17-year-olds, and this is a big stage for them. They know there's, dozens of radar guns. They might even know that this is on TV.
Big Thomas Bly digs in, the Louisville commit. Out of Tampa, Florida, the first pitch fastball sails high, 1-0 to the Sickles High School slugging first baseman. Big frame. I mean, we're talking about 6'4", 220. Again, he too near the back chalk of that batter's box on the right side. He attended Perfect Games National Showcase. Overthrowing just a little bit, sailing high, and they're patient. They're not interested in it.
Changes in the middle of an inning, you know, the clock keeps running. You know, the last game tonight on this field is scheduled to start at 7:40. You know, history shows that, you know, with a great sunny day and no delays, that game may get started at 8:15 or so, because it's a tight schedule. And the 4 fields here in the Marlins Quad are the only 4 of the 12 fields that we're using this year that have lights. So these are the fields that it's maybe even most important to keep on schedule.
Same spot, fastball high. Bly's had a really good year. 48 plate appearances at PG events. He's homered 3 times, on base percentage of .500. Matter of fact, he's got 15 hits, and of those 15 hits, 5 of them extra base hits. So it's been a really nice year. You know, there's been hits, there's been walks, there's been those 15 hits and 9 walks, only 10 strikeouts in 48 plate appearances. Speaking of walks, patiently works one. We've got a single, we've got a hit batsman, and we've got a walk to Thomas Bly. Javier gets ready to go. Calzadilla. From Caracas, University of North Florida commit. International player puts that one on the ground, right around that second base bag. Steps on the bag, throws to first in time. That's a fine play by Miguel Gonzalez when they needed it most. Now, a run does score, but right place, right time. Nice job staying on it to make that call, by the way, out in the field by Antonio Pinzon.
Yeah, absolute best case scenario for Lone Star. You know, nightmare situation, bases loaded, top of the first inning. Perez comes back, there was a good pitch, gets a double play. Yeah, it's a run scores, but if he can get out of the jam here right now, everybody in that Lone Star dugout will be happy.
Evan Tavares is a Miami commit. He takes the first pitch for a low strike, bottom tier of that strike zone. Tavares, 18 years old, just 1 month past, and is a switch hitter. That's at least how he is listed. Stands 6'1". Catcher by trade as he takes strike 2. Canterbury High School, Fort Myers, Florida resident. And if you live in Fort Myers, it's like living in Atlanta, Georgia. Should you want to take on travel baseball and you live in a place like Fort Myers or Atlanta, there are events all year round for you to play in.
Oh, yes, no doubt. I would throw your hometown of Phoenix in, that group, too.
It's growing.
You know, with the number of events that you can play year-round baseball there, and you know, all of a sudden, some of these perfect game athletes that live in these Fort Myers and Atlanta, you look at their records at the end of the year, they've played 80 to 100 games in PG play, which just still blows my mind. You know, you'll see guys that even the young players who've played 200-300 PG games in their career, and you have this in-depth statistical look at them, and yet they're still 15, 16 years old.
This man's a good example. He's had 200 games played. Ouch. That got him in the foot. Ty Head tried to sneak home. That was pretty funny. Ty, you don't score on a hit batter.
He just wanted to go talk to the umpire.
Jack Waddingham, the right fielder. Jack from Orlando, Florida. Windermere High School. He is a Stetson commit. Nearly got him way inside. Runner takes off, swipes the bag. He is at second. Tavares moved up quickly. 1-0 the score. The champs in the summertime at this brother event, as that one's pulled foul up the first baseline. Off to a good start in pool play. Such a fun shot, isn't it, that center field?
Oh, yeah.
With the carts everywhere, and that's kind of nothing, isn't it?
Yeah, and that won't change. A lot of scouts, teams, agents, coaches, whoever, they'll just go and post up carts in the best places. So let's say the Blue Jays always have a cart, in a prime position. So when their scouting director, their national guys come around, there's a place for them to watch the game from.
A lot of national news has been made surrounding the San Diego Padres. Will A.J. Preller stay? Will Bob Melvin stay? They're both staying. They had a frustrating year. A.J. Preller will be at this event. He gets that national attention, he'll be here.
It will be unprecedented for him not to be at this event. Nice curveball there by Perez to strike out the hitter and get out of that jam with only one run, Darren.
Power starts it up with a 1-0 lead here in Jupiter. The Power team out of Florida on top by a score of 1-0. The left-hander Ryan Ashford getting ready to go to work. The lineup he will deal with from Lone Star has some fun names. At the very top of it is Kason Cunningham. We love watching him play. Father with a rich sports history. Heck, mom as well. Josh Sanders is the head coach of the Lone Star Baseball Club. But, this is a great opportunity for a lot of these players, but all eyes will be on Kason.
Oh, Kason Cunningham. My favorite player, actually, in this lineup that I really want to look at is Trey Craig. Just a superb athlete, 6'4", 230, and he was standing over by the fence just before the game, and Darren's like, who is this guy? That's big. It's like, you've seen him before, Darren. He was at PG National. But despite being 6'4", 230 or maybe bigger, runs a 6'6", 60, throws 93 from the infield and first base. Big power. It'd be fun to see him go off at this event and really put his name up in the scouting community even more.
On the mound is Ryan Ashford. Ryan Ashford, Rhino as they call him, is from Lake Mary, Florida, Lake Mary High School. He's a 24 grad. Ryan his dad, Kristen his mom. He's the big brother to Lauren and Jillian, his two younger sisters. And here is Kason Cunningham. Big personality, really fun to be around. He's playing up a year in this event. And got to know him really well at Junior National. Well,
Kason is such a good hitter. He could play up as in, let's go play in college baseball this spring, I think. And he would still hit. He's about a 450 career PG hitter. He's just going to barrel balls up. He's always going to be on time. One of the best young hitters I've seen in a long time. I kind of liken him to a Xavier Edwards, who, of course, made his big league debut this year. But Kason, much more physical than Xavier was, with more strength, and that really comes out in the type of hits and the type of barrels he produces.
Marco is his dad, and his dad played at Texas Tech. Kason is committed to Texas Tech. Mom is Olivia. Dad played professionally in the Royals organization. Kason, a 4.0 GPA in the classroom as well, so just they're checking a lot of boxes. Makes him very recruitable as he fights that one off into left field. Hit it hard on a line, but right to the outfielder, Maddox McDougal, who made the play for the out.
Now, Ryan Ashford is going to be interesting to watch, because it's pitchers like Ryan Ashford that can really become the stars of Jupiter. If he's stretched out, if he can go, 75, 85, maybe more pitches. He's pitching on Thursday. He has a history as a strike thrower, history of success, funky left-hander, lower slot, up to 90 with a big sweeping slider. He can come back and pitch on Monday, despite what he does there and takes a little tumble off the mound there. But each team, or many of the teams that want to win, have a pitcher like Ashford. It's like, okay, he's our best guy, our best chance to win. We're going to throw him on Thursday so we can bring him back Sunday or Monday with this 5-day event. With the pitch count. So if he goes out and gives a solid 4 innings today, he can definitely come back and pitch later in the tournament.
Albert Trey Craig dealing with Ashford. You spoke about excitement of watching this big physical presence. Good zip on the fastball right below his swing. Craig is from Mansfield, Texas. His mom is Crystal. His stepdad is Michael. Those are the heartbeats at his home. And his younger sister is Ava. She's just 13 years old, and I'm sure she looks up to Big Bro quite a bit. I mean, most of us look up to him anyway.
Yeah, just look at that body and say he runs a 6'6", 60. It's like,
it's crazy.
Why isn't he playing linebacker somewhere?
That's crazy.
But one thing I've always noticed about him going back to national is his coaches, whether they be at Lone Star or in high school, whoever his hitting guy is, has kept his swing very short for his size. It's really an emphasis on staying short with the idea that his strength can overpower the baseball without getting long. Because that's something, of course, that bigger players often have problems with, is they get too long in their swing, and that size just puts them at a disadvantage, especially against 90-mile-an-hour type stuff.
2-2 the count. That one with a nice cut to it. Side to side, sweeping, breaking ball. That's strike 3.
And you can see Ashford's and Power Baseball's respect for Craig. 4 pitches, went curveball, fastball, changeup, slider, giving him a different look every time, executed the pitches. Great at bat there, a great approach by Ashford.
Matthew Scott II. Matt from Klein, Texas. It's a fastball, goes to that glove side. That's always a fun pitch to watch. A left-hander get right in at the kneecaps for a called strike, but get that glove side. It's a tough pitch to deliver, and it's a fun one to watch. And he goes outside.
That was a changeup, I think.
I'm going to tell you, too, right away, I'm enjoying watching the dance back and forth with Tavares catching it. Klein Oak High School, as you can see. Look at Tavares work behind the plate. Frames up that breaking ball for a strike.
He's very quiet, receives it very cleanly. Yeah, doing a nice job back there. Ashford's thrown 4 different pitches, has been up to 91 on the fastball. So you can't ask much more in terms of stuff or command thus far.
Left-hander pretty on the mound thus far. Just got a piece of that one, and it's rolled foul. Scott, mom is Ebony, dad is Matt, and his younger brother is Mason. His dad played baseball at Southern. His mom, Ebony, still to this day a marathon runner. So a different kind of athlete, a committed, mentally strong athlete if you're running a marathon. Up on that pigeon toe with that lead foot. The 1-2 straightens him up. Good pitch. Good 2-strike pitch.
Ashford obviously has no hesitance about throwing inside to left or to right-handed hitters, and that's actually pretty rare at this level, finding a lefty who's comfortable coming inside to a right-handed hitter. There's that slider, I think, for strike 3. An outstanding inning from young Ryan Ashford.
Strong on the mound, 1-0 the score. Power Baseball on top. Day 1 in Jupiter, Florida, just getting started. Pool play action. More than 100 teams at the greatest amateur baseball tournament on the planet. Power Baseball, who struck first. Maddox McDougal, who led things off with a single, eventually came around to score. But it could have been a lot more noise, and you got to give credit to Chris Perez as he works to Sebastian Hurtado, because Perez had the bases loaded. There was all kinds of issues around him. It was a double play, then it was a strikeout, and he cleaned things up very nicely.
Yeah, that double play ball was absolutely key. And not an easy play either. A slow roller, just happened to be in the right place, but that was the real key to the inning there.
Good opportunity for Sebastian. He's a 2025 playing up. He is committed to go to Central Florida. 16 years old, getting a chance to play with the big boys. Boy, good life on that pitch as that one runs firm in. He said in his promo to who he is that when right, his fastball cuts like a knife. That was one of those. What are we seeing velo-wise from him?
87, 89, 73 breaking ball, but sitting in the upper 80s and throwing to spots now.
There's that aforementioned breaking ball, by the way.
Yes, you can tell right away. Hurtado, an excellent hitter. Really didn't have a chance there. He's just hitting his spots. A lot more confidence out here in the second inning. Never discount those first inning nerves.
Michael Kalinick. Breaking ball inside corner for strike 1, says Tony Hernandez, the umpire. Michael's an East Carolina commit. He's at Lake Brantley High School in Longwood, Florida. 17 years old. He'll be 18 soon. That one is popped up to the left side.
I've always been a big fan of Kalinick's. He always seems to hit when I'm watching him. He's not a big workout guy in terms of his tools or his numbers, but he's a performer. And he always performs. He's a guy who might end up at East Carolina being more of a hitter type than a catcher, depending on the makeup of that roster. But he always plays, loves to play, and always seems to come up big in big moments. if you have a good breaking ball at this level, you are going to pick out strikeouts. I thought he might have had another one there. Maybe just a bit up, maybe a bit inside. Maybe an oval-shaped strike zone. But the good breaking balls produce swing and miss.
That's a fun pitch. Arm side fastball. Everyone expecting that cut. He straightened it out right in on the hands. Good pitch.
Okay, you think Al Leiter with cut. The first thing I think with cut is Andy Pettit.
Good. I like it.
Who functionally might as well be the same pitcher.
Same era.
Yeah, same era. Same career effectiveness.
It's back-to-back fastballs in. So when we talk about Chris Perez, he shared with us his 23 spring and summer were fun and memorable. He got a chance to play at TCU, played in Georgia at tournaments. His word, I got stronger playing physically and mentally, learned how to control my emotions on the mound. That's where I grew the most.
Well, this has been a big test of controlling your emotions after a rough first inning.
That's a good take.
And so far, he's succeeding. He threw some tough breaking balls there to Kalinic, who fouled off the ones he needed to and took the ones he really needed to.
Yeah, Perez's guy is Bryce Harper. He loves watching the aggressive attitude. At the same mind, the respect for the game he says he has. Let's watch Cooper Collins hit number 2 on that jersey, the middle infielder. That one is low, and it's blocked up by A.J. DiPaolo behind the plate. William Cooper Collins is from Gainesville, Florida, Buckholz High School. He's a Davison commit. Collins' mom is Shelly, dad is William. His high school team, Buckholz High School, made it to the Elite 8 in Florida 6A playoffs. Had a chance to win that 17U WWBA National Championship with his team. And dealing with pressure. That's been one of the big things he feels like he has just learned to handle. And it's coming. He's an all-state player. He's an academic all-state player. And by the way, he has a class of 552. He is 3rd ranked academically in his class of 552. Sometimes that cut tough to command is way inside. He's got a perfect 4.0, a weighted GPA of 4.95. He's got a pretty good eye at the plate. The count is 3-1. Good job, patiently waiting for their pitch, and that's Kalinic and Collins back-to-back walks.
That was a different approach to Kalinic, the left-handed hitter, in that 10-pitch at-bat. 6 of the 10 pitches were breaking balls. In that 5-pitch at-bat to Collins, he went all fastballs, which I think is, maybe a hesitance to throw the fastball to the right-handed hitter from the lefty. But if the breaking ball is your best pitch, and it has been so far, you still have to go to it.
Elijah Buffalo squares the bunt, and he takes strike 1. Buffalo is Central Florida commit. He's a 25, so he's 16 years old. Total games in his perfect game career. 404 on base percentage. Stepping on the bag at third. Long throw across the diamond, and that one sails high. Will it be costly? Meaning a run. Big aggressive turn. Throw behind the runner back to third. A really nice play at third by Sanders. Stepped on the bag, but then that sailed high over the head of Trey Craig.
Yeah, and that was something where, because we have the perfect angle. We have the perfect angle from where we're sitting. We're going to see it from the first base side. But one thing you see here is the third base, Sanders, he's throwing over the mound. He's throwing over the pitcher a bit. I don't think he had a good view of first base, at least from where we were.
Yeah.
And that just maybe psychologically put him in the mode, I got to get the throw up. The throw sailed, went over the first baseman's head.
Fielder's choice and then an error to allow the runners to advance. Back to the top of the order we go, and Maddox McDougal. was Maddox's single that got things going, eventually came around to score, the lone run in this game at this point. We're just handcuffing A.J. DiPaolo behind the plate. It's tough to catch. It's a gift. I mean, that kind of movement, you can tell it's his gift, and it's learning to corral it. It's almost like a fast runner learning how to steal bases.
Yeah. And it takes some pitchers far longer than others to learn how to corral that movement. And I think today with all the analytics, the video work being done, it probably is easier than it ever has been.
3-0 the count. I still think it's difficult, even if you have the most amazing technology, slow motion camera that will tell you, hey, you know, finger, shaping, go ahead and adjust your wrist. I think still sometimes it's difficult to make those changes.
Yeah. Well, I remember go back way pre-analytics, back when I worked with the Astros so long ago. You know, we had a young right-handed pitcher with a very strong arm, and Todd Jones.
Sure.
And Todd Jones had control problems. You know, in college, he had them in the minor leagues. And finally, I don't know whether it was Brent Strom, who was our head pitching coach back then, said, Todd, you get so much movement on your fastball, just throw it in the middle of the plate. And that was the one key that turned him into a struggling Double-A pitcher into a very successful big league pitcher, was just the idea, I can't, with all that movement, I can't hit spots. I've got to throw the ball down the middle and let the movement get the outs.
And an amazing career. Played against him at Jacksonville State when he was in college. School in Alabama. Out over the plate, high fly ball, left center field. Play is made for the third out of the inning by Matt Scott as he eases over and puts that one away. 1-0, Power Baseball. By inning, there is a man worth gathering to watch pitch, and it's this man. It's pretty stuff. Ashford on the mound. He struck out 2 of the 3 he faced.
Yeah, the velocity was impressive up to 91, but that was probably third most impressive thing to me. The first thing is 4 pitches that all showed some quality, and the second thing was strikes. And he opens up his second inning of work with another strike.
Sage Sanders is his foe to start things. A left-on-left matchup. Sage, a Houston commit, top 500 player in the country overall. Swing and a miss. And it's got big side-to-side movement, dugout to dugout, that breaking ball. He'll get tilt when he wants it, but a lot of times it has that, what they call now sweepers. It has that side-to-side movement on the slider.
Darren, you're baiting me there.
I know I am. I know I am. It's a slider that's horizontal. That's really what it is.
Slider with a bigger break to it.
That's exactly right. Sage, by the way, Westlake High School, right-handed thrower. He's just turned 18 years old. This is his 31st perfect game event in his journey as an athlete. Open stance. 1-2, tried to backdoor that one and just missed. We've also enjoyed Evan Tavares catching behind the plate.
Yes, we have.
150 games played for Sage at PG events, a .433 on base in his career. He's got 97 hits, 66 walks. 3-2.
Yeah, get back to the sweeper a little bit. What a sweeper is has always been called a slurve, even a college slurve, because that pitch is very, not slider velocity. It's a true slider, short and tight used to be positive terms for a slider. A true slider is probably within 5 to 7 miles an hour of your fastball. And these sweepers are more 10 to 12 because you're taking off velocity to get break. Now, if you can throw your fastball to spots like that on a 3-2 count, all the much better. But the sweeper is just a bigger slider, which we always have called a slurve.
And that was, as you said, he probably was thinking about that slider, and he did get a well-placed fastball. Here's A.J. DiPaolo. He's the catcher. This is a Vanderbilt commit. He is at Prestonwood Christian Academy in Carrollton, Texas. Kim and Rich, his parents. He is the lone male of 5 at home. And he's the baby. 4 older sisters looking out for him. Fouls that one to the right side. Is there space on that first base side? You bet there is in front of the dugout. Big Thomas Bly makes the play for the out. The wind brought it back a little bit.
Yeah, I just want to put a little more emphasis on Ashford so far. He just rolled through 4 hitters, all top 500 players in the class, and Craig, Scott, Sanders, and DePaulo with 3 strikeouts and a harmless infield pop-up, and is making it look real easy. You know, those are along with Case and Cunningham, who flew out to left to start the game. These are 5 of the best hitters in the country. You know, top 500 players, guys with big bats, big performance records, and Ashford's making it look pretty easy so far.
Now he gets to know the right fielder, Luke McLeod. Sour Lake, Texas. He's a pitcher, third baseman, outfielder, and Luke this time swinging the bat. A couple of hops out to second. The play is made by Cooper Collins. David makes a great point. A strong outing against elite hitters thus far for Ryan Ashford. 1-0. 1-0 the score. You think about it, umpiring an event like this. Perfect Game is fortunate because it is the off-season, if you will, for a lot of minor league umpires. We see a lot of them at this event. Tony Hernandez, Antonio Pinzon, some all the way up to the AA level. It's a nice extra side hustle, and you can guarantee for your teams competing that they're getting really good umpiring.
Oh, this probably more so than any other event. You know, some of the big events, the 17 unders that we've referenced before, those are 400 team events. You need quantity, but it's always been the highest priority at Jupiter, and you know, very appropriately mentioned the time of the year where the emphasis on best umpires. And I know PG Umpire Association is very proud of the fact of how many former PG umpires are umpiring out in professional baseball now. And, you know, we have the best players here, the best teams. You got to have the best umpires.
Fastball is high to tie head. Robert is his dad. He played some college football at Eastern Kentucky. Is a coach now himself and a teacher. Mom is Michelle. She played college basketball at Eastern Kentucky. I wonder where mom and dad met. Rolled to the right side, leaving his feet, but no one over at first. Now, it's great speed. I don't know if Perez would have beaten him there. But Craig, once he made that sliding play, turned and looked, and no one to throw the ball to.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I wish I had my watch out to get this, but Head's a 6'5" runner. He got out of the box right now. I think he's being Perez. It's going to be awfully close, and, you know, Perez, that little hesitation, and it's like, oh, boy, I'm not going to catch up to that guy.
Always hard for a lefty. Think about it logically, folks. The lefty is falling off toward the third base side, so you've got to turn and burn. It's not a natural movement. The righty falls toward covering the first base bag.
And you know what? If I'm the Power Baseball coaching staff right now, I'm thinking, hey, if Perez is still in the game, maybe later this inning, maybe next inning, I might put a bunt down the first base line.
Yeah, make him go get it. You're exactly right. And to your point, this is what you see a lot more of in this tournament, different than others.
Yeah. We can do festivals and All-American games and stuff like that and never see a bunt. We might see a bunt, you know, certainly not from Bly in the middle of the lineup.
No.
But we will see bunts. We'll see pitch outs. We'll see things that you would not see in the games that you and I are used to doing.
Thomas Bly coaxed himself a walk first time up. Eventually was stranded, did not come around to score. David is his dad. David went to the University of Florida. Both of his parents were Florida Gator attendees. Thomas really good in the classroom as well. Perfect, as a matter of fact, with the honors courses and a perfect 4.0 GPA as he hits a high pop-up back of short. Great communication. Case and letting him know he's got it, sticks with it as he drifts into foul territory. He called it early, then he had to stick with it.
Yeah, I'm going to nerd out here with some scouting stuff because I did get my stopwatch out after Ty Head hit that grounder to first. That was 6.81 on the hang time.
What does that mean?
That means power.
Okay.
To hit a ball that high, to stay in the air that long. Anything over 6'5" at this level, this age group, is elite. I've only gotten a few sevens ever. So 6'8" is about as good as it gets, and it's a very good indicator for Thomas Bly, who does have obviously big power. You know, that power was there. It also means he just missed that.
Calzadilla Javier takes up and away. He rolled into a double play. It was a big double play for Chris Perez. First time through. I asked each athlete, I give you 1 hour per day max to do a workout, to train. What would you do? And some of the answers are fun, like Javier's. I'd spend 5 minutes warming up, 25 minutes doing infield drills, and 30 minutes hitting. That was his answer. Some answered more weight room, some answered more flexibility, but I made it clear you only have 1 hour to train. Got that runner hung up. They're going to run at him. An aggressive lead. Head in a run down, a stumble, and he got him with the tag. AJ, I'll take it myself.
It's pretty clear what happened there by Head's. Head literally, when he was picked off, looked over to his third base coach and said what went on, because he was expecting a hit and run. I'm almost sure that he was hitting a hit and run, and he got off to go, and he had nowhere to go.
How about AJ, though?
Yeah. But, yeah, that was just, I think, a missed sign there. In fact, after that walk, the third base coach just lowered his head like saying, we could have runners on first and second right now.
Rare, by the way, is you have a caught stealing 2-1 assistant.
Yeah.
It's pretty rare. I'm just going to leave it at that.
Yeah.
Calzadilla draws the walk. David, you and I do so many games together, and it's fun that we're like, I'm going to simplify it for our viewers. We're talking strategy. Like, I'm listening to you talk strategy. We never get to talk strategy.
Yeah, it's great. I love it.
Evan Tavares was hit by a pitch back in the first inning. Did not come around to score. Big swing on a hanging breaking ball that time, but he fouls it off.
See, and I do envy you. You've announced about 3,000 more big league games than I have, and you get to talk about stuff like that.
Strategy's fun. I mean, the All-American Classic is amazing. Don't get me wrong. The 14U Select Festival is incredible, but those are showcases. There's no strategy in that. Not quite as much emotion. And if there is, it's a little bit more, hey, I've spent 3 days with these elite players, and we want to rep the West. And this is a little bit more emotion. Like you said, you'll have some barking at umpires and players talking a little bit to one another. We got to remind them, by the way, we have hot mics, so be careful how you talk to one another. Bouncing ball grabbed right there on top of the mud. And makes the play as he turns from that bump. And to Tavares, he is erased. Right on over to Trey Craig. 1-0 is the score in Jupiter. As a fun commercial, we get to watch Bobby Witt. Seems like yesterday played for the East Coast Sox at this event with Reese Hines on that team, Hayden Dunhurst on that team. As a matter of fact, when you look at that year, that a couple of years back, his final year at Jupiter, maybe it was 18 or 19 that Witt played in this event, Bobby Witt, who's going to get MVP votes this year, by the way, and the scouts like this watched him. I believe there are a dozen players that have played professionally off that team at some level.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. And Bobby Witt's a type who is so into baseball at this level, is so supportive in many ways. He's one of these guys I wouldn't be surprised if he just didn't show up at Jupiter one year. Hopefully the Royals, for their sake, maybe he can be playing at this time of year. But when they're not, I wouldn't be surprised to see Bobby Witt, show up to support his old teammates and take in the environment. That happens frequently.
It does. We always see Jordan Adele out here with the Canes. I'm not sure if he'll make it, but Joe, a big the Angels outfielder. He is a big supporter of his travel team. Fastball hits the outside corner. Right back to work is Ryan Ashford. Colby DeMars is his foe. Young outfielder from Liberty Hill, Texas. Still making his college choices. He's got some interesting choices with that open stance.
Yeah, just to close the subject, I think one of my favorite days in Jupiter ever was getting to walk all the way from the parking lot out to Cardinals 1, which is about the longest walk in the ballpark, walking with Mookie Betts, who was there to coach third base for Doolin's Dodgers, who he played with when he was a kid. And this was Red Sox Betts, but he was still already established as a star, and it was just fun.
I can't imagine. He looked back on his days. It's interesting. Mookie's an interesting journey for all of you that aren't ranked as high as you'd like to be. He was 300 plus in the rankings as that one sails to the backstop. As a matter of fact, Mookie Betts, to kind of get on your story a little bit and take it further, was a PG alum, but you have to look closely. He did not play a single travel ball event until after he had graduated high school. He wanted to kind of buy time between the draft, figure out what he wanted to do, maybe go to college, see what was going to happen with that. And he stayed fresh by playing at PG events.
In fact, the only time I ever saw him play as an amateur was at the East Coast Pro event. Well, that was, I did not expect that. Ashford with 23 pitches in the first 2 innings issues a leadoff walk to start the third.
Wyatt Gatlin from Austin, Texas, a University of Texas commit. Maybe facing a lefty will zone him back into the plate. Let's watch. Runner was on the move. It's popped up, and it's fouling out of play. Gatlin, the son of Shannon and Jim. Dad played some college baseball. Mom was an excellent soccer player when she was young, playing at the club level, some national events. High school MVP of his team, this slugger. This is something you definitely won't see in an All-American Classic is a bunt.
Yeah, and you're thinking, okay, they're down 2-0. Lone Star is in the third inning. What they just want to do is here, get a run on the board, get some base runners, put the ball in play. He's squaring so early, you were thinking almost he was going to pull back and swing. In fact, infield was playing back and had to come running in there.
Turned it into an out, though, and they'll take that on the other side. It's frustrating for Wyatt, I would imagine.
Sometimes you wonder, with these players, Gatlin, I'm sure, a player who probably isn't called upon to bunt very much. I mean, he's a big kid in there for his bat. He's a designated hitter.
Miguel Gonzalez found this team from Texas. He is from Miami, and he joins them as an add-on player. Miami Sunset Senior High School. He's a 12th grader. This is a wonderful opportunity. He's an uncommitted athlete, so he can find a place to play, quite frankly, at an event like this. As he takes inside, a little hopscotch out of the way. At Miami Sunset Senior High, had a chance to compete in the 4A state championship, the FHSAA 4A state championship. Arcelis and Miguel are his parents. And I'll add this one more additional piece to his resume for any college coaches that may be looking on that makes him a little bit recruitable. He's a middle infielder, so he's got that kind of skill and an athlete, but he also is a young man who has a 4.3 GPA and a 1330 SAT. You can go get some academic scholarship money for him.
And that leads me to believe, with some of his numbers and how he's performed at a high level, that he has plenty of options right now. He's just waiting, because that coaches hear that kind of academic money, and it's like, wow, I can get this guy on minimum athletic and still give him a full ride, because that academics plays at any school, so to speak.
He talks about managing time, and a lot of these young athletes will share that it's a huge challenge. He said, and I quote, "Balancing baseball in school's never easy. Practice to games to lifts. There isn't much time left for school." He said, "What I've done to overcome this challenge, because my high school coach implemented a study hall before practice. We study for an hour, then we have our practice." And he said that really helps. Doesn't bring quite as much work home. Drives that one toward left, in for a base hit, got it down off the end of the bat. And there's a single for Miguel, couple of runners on for Lone Star.
And Ashford's stuff is still solid, up to 90 this inning, but the location, he's missed a few pitches by 3-4 feet, which he didn't do in the first inning. That looked like a slider right over the middle of the plate. So it doesn't quite have the intensity in his pitches or the consistency in his mechanics this inning.
Back to the top of the order in the talented 2025, the Texas Tech commit, Kaysen Cunningham. Kaysen lined to left field first time up. Over the outside corner, strike one.
Cunningham has that reaction of a hitter who sees the ball exceptionally well. This is somebody who's only struck out like 36 times in close to 600 PG at bats. He looked at pitch and he thought that was a little off the outside corner, and he acted like it. Not in a way to show up the umpire, but just in a little, oh, I don't agree with that sort of way. And I was thinking, Darren, I might have had the wrong comp for Kaysen.
Okay.
I said Xavier Edwards, and I love Xavier Edwards. He just missed with that fastball. But I was thinking more, with the power hasn't come yet like it did for Tamar Johnson. But especially when you mentioned the personality, Kaysen Cunningham, obviously with a big personality. Same with Tamar. The only real difference, is the power. And Tamar, by the time he graduated, he just had, extreme power. And Cunningham hasn't developed that yet. But all the other tools are similar, and the personality is similar.
Well, that time he was tied up. Ashford went in on his hands, and he couldn't get the extension that he wanted. Runners do move up to second and third, but that's a big second out.
Big second out, and I think what we saw right there almost was Ashford getting his concentration back for the top of the order. He went through that first 5 hitters in the Lone Star lineup so easily with such skill. The first time it looked like he relaxed at the end of the order a bit. And I think he got his intensity when he saw Kaysen Cunningham. Because make no mistake, these players all know who each other are. They all know who each other are. And he got his intensity back with the quality of those pitches.
Cooper Collins made the play out there. The dangerous Trey Craig now. Just missed the outside corner with that one. Looked like a changeup that time. 1-0 the count. Even with the miss, that's still a good show pitch.
Yeah. And the next pitch, I wouldn't be surprised, isn't a fastball inside. That would be the logical progression. And Ashford's had no hesitation throwing inside to right-handed hitters. Up and in.
Yeah, he went there with it. Probably got more plate than he wanted, but still soft away, firm inner half. 1-1 the count. Matt Scott waits on deck. Base is open here. Chance for Ashford to shine again as he has in this game. Got a swing and a miss. Slider in the dirt. Evan Tavares, a huge piece of that one. Locking it up.
Big pitch here. 2 runners in scoring position, 2 outs.
First team All-State player in Texas, hitting .489 in the spring. Not interested that time. The count is 2-2. He talks about his summer, does Trey. He said, look, it had its ups and downs. He said, I've grown so much, though. My last summer at bat, he shared, was a go-ahead grand slam to help my team get a critical win to make bracket play at the PG World Series. Just off the plate outside.
Take some discipline with 2 strikes to take that pitch. Looked like an inviting pitch, maybe just to line the opposite way. Simple, get your bat out behind it, line it to right field, pick up 2 RBIs.
Trey's made an interesting choice this fall, too. It happens in California and in certain states, but he's playing in the Texas Scouting Association North Texas Scout Team. They have those in California, the scout teams and the scout leagues. I was fortunate enough to play on one, but so he's spending, Trey is, his fall playing against junior colleges as a high school player. That's a great opportunity.
Yeah, I really haven't heard much about that. I know back when I lived in Houston, they had different versions of fall ball with travel teams, so not nearly as advanced as that. But yeah, playing against that older competition, just playing against different players can be so valuable.
Tied him up with a fastball. Look at the reaction by Ashford. That's why this event is different. Big fastball tied up the dangerous slugger. Got him that time. They'll meet again. 1-0. 1-0 is the score. Chris Perez goes right back to work. First pitch swinging, popped up to the right side, hanging back behind that second base bag. Miguel Gonzalez makes the play. Jack Waddingham, the first pitch he saw, lifts it for 1 out. 1 pitch, 1 out.
Pitcher's favorite thing in baseball, especially Perez, who threw 63 pitches through 3 innings, having a short outing here, key to his lasting another inning.
1-0 the count to Sebastian Hurtado. Sebastian struck out looking back in the second inning. gives that one a ride toward right. Efficient, 3 pitches, 2 outs in the inning. Luke McLeod makes the play in right field. Our entire production team, David and Darren, glad to have you with us here at Jupiter, Florida. Day 1 pool play. The Worldwood Bat Association World Championship. We'll be here for 9 total games, twice a day. And then Monday, just 1 game, the championship game. Pulls the hands in, drives that one toward right. Diving play! McLeod goes down onto the grass and makes an incredible grab. Hard topspin swing off the bat of, wow, that was beautiful.
Yeah, Michael Kalinich had that long 10-pitch at bat, jumped on this pitch over the plate. I don't know, he's thinking extra bases or certainly a hit. Great play by the right fielder. And a 4-pitch inning for Christopher Perez.
1-0. It's funny, the coffee is brewed. Folks have come out. The 8 a.m. games have come and gone, and now we're at 10:20, and you have reactions of pumping fist of pitchers. You have diving plays and dugouts making noise. And you have what you had, David, in the last inning for Ryan Ashford, who was working now for that power team. Just a huge as he came off the mound, but it was fun to watch him dig out of a hole. He kind of, as you said, let down against the bottom of the order, but he woke up against the top.
He woke up, and that last pitch to Craig, obviously an extremely dangerous hitter, stands out as the single most important pitch of this game now. You have runners at second and third, 2 outs, a great hitter up. You've got a 3-2 count, and he threw the perfect pitch, 91 to the exact location he wanted. He'd set it up with changeups on 2 of the last 3 pitches. And then you throw 91 right on the inside corner. Craig really had no chance, but he had a lot of hitters. Most hitters had no chance on that pitch. Great execution, great performance so far for 3 shutout innings for Ashford.
All right, time to go back to work now for this Lone Star team. They have been handcuffed by Ryan Ashford. Ashford, the left-handed pitcher out of Lake Mary, Florida. He is a Miami commit, right around 300 rankings. David and I talked about it. You may be a pitcher who's pitched all summer at different showcases as an All-American. Maybe you pitched at another All-American game. You stayed busy, you're shutting down now. It's moving day for a guy like this man in the rankings.
Oh, no doubt. And it's moving day. It's also, you know, it's confidence. You know, I really think a pitcher like Ashford, based on what he's showing right now, is a guy that Miami's sitting watching and say, hey, this guy can contribute for us as a freshman. You know, with his arsenal, with his strikes, you know, with his intensity and ability to make pitches, he's making a statement right now, as much as the Miami coaching staff as anything else.
Mitch is just off the plate outside. The Lone Star Baseball Club from Austin, Texas. We'll have this game against Power Baseball. They will play tomorrow against Stars Baseball, and then the Clubhouse Evo Shield team on Saturday. Tomorrow's game will be in the evening as that one dots the outside corner. Beautiful wrinkle on that one for strike 3.
Couple really nice sliders there. You know, got the depth. Those are more of the slurve, the sweepers with depth. He really has 5 pitches because that slider is different than the short little one he's thrown a couple times. He also has a slower low 70s curveball that he's only featured a couple times, but he has in the arsenal.
Boy, gets great dive to that one. Missed inside, not by much to Sage Sanders. Ryan Ashford working on the mound. Second team all Seminole County, twice as a utility player, talking about Ashford. A honor roll student in the classroom as that fastball is high. He talks about committing early, does Ashford. He said, it was a bit of a challenge. I was being told that 90% of commits who commit early, they never end up going to that school. That pushed me to be the best person on and off the field that I can be. I committed to Miami. They committed to me. I want that marriage to be long-term. And he shares that sometimes a lot of his colleagues view it as maybe short-term, or the coach sees it as a better option through the years. He really saw it as something important to him. Once he committed, like, he wanted Miami to look at him on a day-to-day and think, we're glad we have you.
Yes, and that,
if that makes sense.
Yeah, and when that works out, it's great. And of course, the rules have changed significantly.
Yes.
I was talking to a dad who I've known for a long time the other day about his son who just decommitted from a major school literally a couple weeks ago because there was a change in recruiting coordinators, and the recruiting coordinator wanted to go a different route with transfer portal and JC guys. And the early commits just raised the whole spectrum of coaching changes, philosophy changes, and one of the reasons I'm so supportive of the new rules is it keeps kids from being in that situation where they're prepared to go to X school, and all of a sudden X school has a different coaching staff or a different approach due to transfer portal or something. Oh, we're going to go to another direction.
A.J. DiPaolo now after the second walk of the outing for this left-hander. This is the outside corner, 1-0 the count. Hey, by the way, I asked all of these athletes who wins the World Series. We're in the middle of the postseason. Ryan Ashford said the Arizona Diamondbacks. I love their grit. He said I love Zach Gallen and, of course, Corbin Carroll, who seemed like he was playing at this event yesterday for the Canes. Pretty pitch, 1-1. Some of the players he loves to watch. Reed Detmers with the Angels, Mike Trout with the Angels, and video of Randy Johnson. He was born in California, now lives in Florida, so he's a kind of a Cali kid by birth. That one misses outside. He said, that's why I wear number 27, Mr. Mike Trout. Since I was 6 years old, if number 27's been available, I will wear it because I like to honor the way Mike has played. Who, by the way, played at this event.
Yes, of course.
Go look out there, folks. There's a famous scouting report with my color analyst that he did on Mike. Michael Trout, you called him, right?
I believe so, yeah.
In the video.
And at that point, I spoke the truth. I said he looked like a third to fourth rounder.
That's amazing. Young Michael Trout from New Jersey.
It's funny you mentioned Zach Gallen of the Diamondbacks, who also pitched at this event, was a mid to upper 80s kid in high school. I can't, but after watching the first inning of last night's Diamondbacks game, and I didn't watch the whole game, and seeing that he threw 6 innings after like a 35-pitch first inning, that he was going to, bleed to death by multiple cuts, just, walk and a this and a that. And I'm like, to see that he ended up, pitching 6, that's a lesson every pitcher can learn. You might have a bad inning. You might have bad luck. Stay with it.
He stayed with it toward right field at A.J. DiPaolo, the catcher. He has got a single. Zach was fun last night. This is him fighting it off. Oh, Texas leaguer.
Yeah, and that's an inside, short inside swing anyway. That swing was not going to produce hard pull contact, but what was needed at that count in that situation was just contact.
Quick conversation with this left-hander who's at 62 pitches. Give me a velocity story if you can from Ashford. What have you seen, velo-wise?
Well, the velos, he pitches at 88, 89. He's reached back, as I mentioned, with that big strikeout to Craig, up to 91, and I think that had some intent to it. And right now, that's the top. But he's not a pitcher who's ever going to, be successful due to his velocity because it's a lower slot. He has the multiple pitches. His whole key, it seems to me, just based on this outing, is that he's either really on with his command or it really lags. And it does. I think it has to be almost a concentration thing at this point. They aren't the simplest mechanics, but he seems to come and go with that concentration and the quality of his location. And now he's got 2 men on, 1 out. Now's the time to bear down.
So number 27 is finished with his visit. He gets ready to bear down, as you said. He deals with Luke McLeod, who made a diving play in right a half inning ago, and now they want to reset things. He wants Tavares to come out quickly. He does have a runner at second, and I think they just want to make sure they're on the same page. You got a clock on this one for me, D? We started at 12:40-ish,
yeah,
correct?
We're 106 in. So
Okay.
we're doing fine.
Oh, we got all the time in the world, David.
A 4-pitch inning can and no inning pitching changes, do wonderful things.
There is 1 out. Goes right back to work, spins a breaking ball over the outside corner, 0-1 the count. So look at Sage Sanders out there at second base. His Lone Star team trying to break through. Austin, Texas in their light blue uniforms, head to toe.
Now we're having some other communication issue here. Not sure what this is about.
The lights of the golf cart were on.
How many times have you seen that hold up a game?
Not in the big leagues. No, not in the big leagues. Maybe behind Phil Mickelson somewhere with his team pulling up.
This will be an interesting at bat. Just looking up McLeod's, batting stats from this year. He's primary pitcher, but has hit in 20 games this year and has 19 walks. And you can see how slow-paced this at bat already is between the lights and the mound visit. McLeod stepped out twice. He's going to work this count and take some pitches.
Luke, the son of Stephanie and Roy. Dad played at Panola Junior College in Texas. Brother Logan played at La Tech. And his brother Landon played at Angelina JUCO. So a family of baseball players. Good pitch, that fastball right in on the knuckles, right under the batting gloves. He looks up to his older brothers. We were talking about both of them playing college baseball. He said, they're the hardest working men I know. Taught me how to go after what I love, but if I don't give it every ounce of my effort, I'm not going to get there. My brother showed me that. And his favorite player is Fernando Tatis Jr. Tough man to strike out here. That's why as he spoils one off to the right side, a pitch down and away. We asked Luke David, sorry about that, who would win the World Series, and his guess is a lot of people's guess, the Braves.
That would be my guess too, Darren, if you held my hand to the fire on that.
I would never do that to you, though.
There's definitely feels like there's some gravity to this at bat. Ashford's pace has slowed down. McLeod's patient. Fouling off some pitches. Does that stay fair?
There is gravity. You're exactly right. An incredible at bat. To the right side. 1 run, 2-run score. Lone Star jumps out on top thanks to Luke McLeod. David, you were on it.
Just a great at bat. He got the feel. He got a feel for where Ashford wanted to put this ball. He was fouling him off opposite way. Got the same pitch again. Keeps it simple. Only question was fair or foul. It's what? A foot inside the right field foul line. 2 RBIs.
There's action in the bullpen, certainly for the power team. They may be making a change, we'll see, but they've got a right-hander that's gotten hot in the pen. I know Jackson Bellhorn may work. I know Luis Machado may work. Maddox McDougal, who's playing in the field, may pitch. Those are some options, so we'll see what they opt to do. 2-1 is the score. Doesn't take a ton away from how good Ashford's been. It's interesting, a quick note about Luke McLeod, and it plays into what we see as a hitter. I mean, you can tell me, 0-1 the count, but I asked Luke, so tell me something about yourself that, as he stands out there at second, that might surprise people, and his answer was simple. I'm far better at ping pong than I am at baseball. That speaks to hand-eye to me, dude. That speaks to hand-eye, and that kind of at bat.
Yeah. Far better. If he ever makes the big leagues, and of course we hope every one of these players do, we know every big league clubhouse has a ping pong table in it. So be forewarned.
What a piece of hitting by Luke McLeod as he stands out there at second base. 1-1 the count. Approaching 70 pitches for this left-hander, and I think their goal is, it looks like they do have Bellhorn ready, but I think their goal may be, let's get him through 4. Let's see if we can get him his 4 innings. And we shall see if they're able to do that. Colby DeMars walked back in the 3rd inning. And DeMars takes a pitch that hits the outside corner. 1-2 the count. Yeah, heading back, talking over again signs. as DeMars has a couple of more warm-up hacks. His favorite player to watch play is a recent name for all of us. He loves Dylan Cruz. He said, I've mimicked what he has done. I've learned everything that he does, but I love watching how electric Dylan is. Holds that bat away from his body with the open stance. The current hero, McLeod, out there at second. Good take. DeMars, I asked, so if we give you 1 hour per day to work out, what would you do? He said, I would do weights one day, baseball the next, mobility the next, and then repeat.
Sounds like
so he wouldn't break up his hour.
Yeah, he sounds like, yeah, that sounds like somebody who's actually thought about that.
Line drive left field, charging in, making the play. Double play because there was aggression from McLeod coming off the base. Well, they did him a favor that time. A well-struck baseball by DeMars, but this is the heroic at-bat. McLeod made a diving play earlier, and then, as David said, put a heck of an at-bat on the talented left-hander Ashford, and gives his team a 2-1 lead. Memories, they're made in Jupiter, Florida. Luke McLeod with a diving play in right field, and then the very next inning, the go-ahead 2 RBI hit. A beautiful foul line to foul line approach, hitting it the other way.
Now, do you think he'll remember the catch or the 2-run double more?
I'm going to say the 2-run double.
Okay.
I'm going to say the 2-run double. That's just my thought. Cooper Collins takes a pitch that is high, and now suddenly Chris Perez, who it's been a plodding outing for Perez, but he's got the lead.
Yeah, he's up to 66 pitches in 4 innings, but he's gotten, after that rough first inning where he had some jitters, he has slowly gotten better, and coming off a 4-pitch inning, he should be very confident right now, very fresh. He's had a lot of time to catch his breath, on the bench, and routine ball to shortstop to open up this inning.
And he beat it out.
Not as routine as it looked, evidently.
Yeah, Collins can fly. That was Kason Cunningham who played it at short. The Texas Tech commit. This is amazing speed here from Collins.
This is off a right-handed hitter, busted out of the box. Wow. And he's safe.
Goodness gracious. As you said, a right-handed bat, not a lefty.
Yeah. And that just sort of seems to be the pattern right now for power baseball. You could feel almost last inning just a little bit of an emotional downer inning, not only with going behind, but that comes out to play right away with those first 2 batters. You have a routine ground ball and a bunt, and neither of them is executed. Instead of 2 outs and an easy inning, the energy might be coming back here.
No, you're exactly right. He slipped it right on past Trey Craig, who was trying to, I think, pick it up and tag at the same time and came up empty. Yeah, that's exactly what he was trying to catch it and tag, right? Otherwise, he had no play.
Yeah. Because you're not going to expect the second baseman to get over for that.
How about Elijah Buffalo with that beautiful bunt? Maddox McDougal looking to bunt. He drops one down right off the mound. Only play. Nobody covering. Nobody covering. Bases are full for Power.
Just what Power baseball needs to get back in. A little movement on the bases. Put down a couple bunts. I know bunting is out of fashion in baseball right now, but these are 17-year-olds. They react differently. And not even a particular, Perez thought about it, and it's like, wait a minute.
And now all of this in front of Ty Head, the most talented player, according to the rankings and many of the scouts on this team. On a very talented overall team. Top 50 player in the country. Right around that top 10 spot as an outfielder. 18 years old, Ty Head, North Carolina State commit. 0-1 the count.
Similar situation to where Perez was in the first inning with no outs, bases loaded. He got a double play then to allow 1 run.
And it's a high fly ball, right field toward the line it goes. Not very deep, tagging, fired toward the plate. High over the head, nice job backing up there by Perez. McLeod wanted to be a hero again, but there was no chance in throwing that runner out.
No, not Cooper. Not Collins. Very, like you said, very good job of backing up by Perez. Runner did go to third on the throw, but that enabled the runner at first to stay there and forced him to stay at first. So keeps the double play in order with 1 out.
You've got a talented hitter, certainly, and a guy with big power, but a good double play candidate in Thomas Bly. A very deliberate walk. And let's see if, in fact, there will be a move to be made.
The bullpen for these fields in between this field, field number 6 and field number 5. We've got the whole 6-pack, as it's called in ballpark lingo, between the fields. And we do see a Lone Star pitcher getting loose down there. I don't think they're going to go in that direction. That's our home plate umpire, Hernandez. Gets things broken up.
Lonestar National Team Sanders, Josh Sanders, the head coach. That one dives low and inside. Nico Gonzalez, also a key member of Lone Star, the owner of Lone Star Baseball Club. Fastball just a little bit high that time.
Double play depth in the middle infield. Third baseman playing almost on the grass. Pretty tight to the line.
High fly ball right field. That one's drifting. McLeod makes the play. That's another RBI. Sacrifice fly, and suddenly Power has the lead right back. Taking advantage with a little bit of little ball, and actually it's, what, a ground ball, a couple of bunts, and a couple of fly balls.
Yeah, and the key was that first pitch, ground ball to short. Look, I even said, hey, routine ground ball to short. And I knew I probably shouldn't have said that the moment I left my mouth. But that routine ground ball has been the whole key to the inning. It ain't 2 bunts to be put down, and Power is executed. Got 2 sac flies back-to-back with runners at third base. Playing some good, solid baseball.
Javier Calzadilla, the NC State commit. Claremont, Florida. Makes a pitch that dives low and outside. Javier walked, also grounded into a 4-3 double play back in the first inning. It turned out to be a big point in this game. It was bases loaded for Power, and they got just 1 run that inning. 2-1 the count. Chris is a grinder. The University of Houston commit. Popped in and out of the catcher's mitt, but right down the middle, it's a strike.
It's interesting, after opening up with a pretty breaking ball heavy diet, is going almost strictly with his fastball. Really over the last 2 innings, sitting 86, 87. There's the breaking ball.
Swung right over the top of it. You're exactly right. Four seam, spinner with effect, and he got out of it. But little bloop and a ground ball and a bunt and a fly ball, and suddenly it's 3-2. That's the score. The talented left-hander Ryan Ashford is done in this game. Jackson Bellhorn will take over. David, what did you see?
I saw, as I think I mentioned before, the fastball velocity up to 91 is great for a lefty especially. But that was only 3rd on my list. You know, the 4 pitches that he threw, mostly for strikes, was important. And when he was zoned in, is the location of his pitches, especially that one, of course, to Craig to get a big strikeout. But when he was zoned in, it was a great outing.
Jackson Bellhorn takes the rock and goes to work. Graphic says Clemson. I believe he may be an uncommitted athlete at this point. He shared with us on his questionnaire over the last 48 hours. The Masters Academy man is at this point uncommitted, but looking at North Florida, Florida Gulf Coast, Rollins, West Florida. The son of Todd Bellhorn and Virginia Bellhorn. And that's a baseball name, right? You remember Mark Bellhorn? That's his uncle.
Yeah, when you see names like that, you automatically just go, oh, that has to be some sort of relation. Of course, his Uncle Mark played 10 years, I believe, in the big leagues. Was not a pitcher.
He's kind of a gritty infielder,
yeah.
Right? Dirty uniform. Just a guy you didn't want to deal with. He never gave up. Wyatt Gatlin against a right-hander. Now they're looking at a righty when they have dealt with the lefty the entire time. Pretty decorated, this right-hander, through his time. He was an MVP pitcher at a PG event in 9th grade, all-state team in school in 10th, school MVP in 10th grade, won his school Cy Young his junior year, and he's been the team captain at his high school the last couple of years as he zips a fastball in and off the plate, 1-0 the count at the Masters Academy.
And one thing I can pretty much guarantee he's going to do is throw strikes. Jackson Bellhorn, in his last 45 PG innings, has 7 walks.
Well, it's a lively little fastball, isn't it? Look at a little turn and dive on it. He shares with us, David, in his scouting report. He sits 86, 87, tops out 88. Slider, curveball, changeup. He gave us his own scouting report. As that one dives low. He added a descriptive sentence saying, firm fastball that comes out of a 3/4 slot, throws with intent, strong lower half, hard slider that comes out of the hand well. Beat him in.
Like most control-oriented pitchers, he takes the ball, never gets more than a step or two from the rubber. Won't have to worry about a pitch clock at the next level or 2 levels up. Got to see the breaking ball there.
We see Aiden Klein getting the call to hit. That one dives down and away.
Don't tell me I jinxed him, Darren.
I don't think you did.
Okay.
Keep your head up. Aiden, by the way, from Ingram, Texas. As he takes low. I don't believe in the jinx, though. You know that, David? I don't know if you know that, but I don't believe in it. So Klein draws the walk.
Well, I actually do.
Okay.
So.
And we're way over here in a tent, David.
Yeah,
we can't affect the game.
Yes, but there are a couple things you just don't talk about in baseball and at this level. And one of them is command or walks, and the other one is the weather. I mean, there's nothing good that's going to happen out of those conversations. You can call it a jinx. You can call it the baseball gods. Whatever you want.
As that one has popped foul on a bunt attempt. Miguel Gonzalez. Very traditional way of thinking, and I like it. Don't agree with it, but I like that you feel that way.
Miggy was so far out of the batter's box when he made contact with that ball. He was running when he made contact with that baseball and that bunt attempt. And while it's a sacrifice, he was looking for base hit, too. There, now he did it more fun.
Oh, he pushed it beautifully, David. That's twice.
Oh, that's one of my favorite plays in baseball.
Look at that reaction.
Oh, yeah.
You were on that one, too.
You could hit 300 if you could just do this and poke that hard to the first, get it right between. There's no play.
Oh, that's an empty feeling for Bellhorn.
Yeah, and just look at his reaction afterwards. Yeah.
Framed up his Lone Star logo when he celebrated out there.
Darren, we talked at the top of the broadcast about things that we will see over the course of this week, 5 days, that we don't usually see. And we mentioned bunts. Now, we've had 3 bunts that have been very, very integral. I'm thinking this is going to be pretty integral. Puts men on first and second and no out. 2 bunts last inning that were very important. And it's a different type of baseball, and it's a baseball at this level at Jupiter that we're used to seeing. And the team that executes best on those plays, they tend to win.
Kaysen Cunningham, Texas Tech commit, looks at a slider right under his hands for strike one. Kaysen's 0 for 2. He lined to left going the other way. He pulled a ground ball to the right side to the second baseman. 0 for 2 today. Back-to-back sliders. That one over the outside corner. It's always a gift for a pitcher. You spoke about pitchability to not really have a point of reference for a breaking ball and to be able to command a slider like that. I mean a point of reference meaning the hip of a right-handed hitter. Throw that to lefties like that. Boom, 3 in a row. It's gloved. They'll get 1. Can they get 2? On to first, you bet. Beautiful defensive play. They had to be perfect with Kaysen running, and you know what? Defensively, they were. Wow,
that was a slick play, and the most important part of that is Bellhorn making that quick and accurate throw, because you see so many pitchers, even at the big league level, who are uncomfortable. Perfect feed, perfect second base turn, get a 6-5 runner in Cunningham by a step at first.
Elijah Buffalo right there in the middle of the shortstop. You've got to know who's covering. You've got to communicate well. Here's Trey Craig, 0 for 2. They've kept him down. He struck out a couple of times. Big chance here for Lone Star, trying to get that run back.
Yeah. And this is when power, whether it's Jackson Bellhorn or his defensive alignment behind him, can't let down after that big double play.
Played on a backhand, a slider that time. Tavares has been a really good catcher today. Just off the plate with the fastball. Albert Trey Craig from Mansfield, Texas. Coach Snaggle awaiting his arrival at Texas A&M. Beautiful pitch. His mom, Crystal, by the way, a track All-American at Oklahoma State.
That's where he gets that 6'6" speed despite the size, is from mom.
His sister Ava, a 6-time AAU All-American as well. Nice job. Didn't play it beautifully, let's be honest. Didn't get the body shifted, but still, that's a huge job keeping that ball with him.
Yeah, that's a very mature play. He was balanced. He wasn't lunging at the ball. There wasn't, driving the glove out. It was under control. Yeah, you'd like to see him get that in the chest protector, but maybe he didn't see, maybe he hasn't worked enough with Bellhorn. Maybe he didn't, recognize the location early enough. But
that 3-1 slider.
I had some cut to it.
A 3-1 slider, dude.
Well,
wow.
You got bases empty. Yes, after Craig, you've got Matt Scott, who's certainly no easy out next.
Remember, he threw Cunningham 3 sliders in a row.
Yeah.
3-2. Went with the slider and he spoiled it.
And the difference with this slider, and we saw with Perez and Ashford and their breaking balls, he's throwing 85, 88 on the fastball, and these sliders are 81, 82. They're almost like cutters. We're sitting here wondering if it's a slider. Yeah, it looks like that, but these are the short, tight sliders that are more the true slider, throughout history.
Jackson Bellhorn rocks and fires. Fastball, ground ball, right side. Falling after making the play, but recovering is Cooper Collins. We made the play right there, and just suddenly, like there was a sniper, went down to his knees. He hopped right back up and threw a strike. Well, that could have been a lot worse, and they hold him down. How about the heartbeat, the slow heartbeat of Jackson Bellhorn, 3-2. I always talk about this event as a scouting and player development convention, and it really is.
The festival of baseball is what I call it. It's always been that way, and it's a younger group than I was used to. Back in the day, I can't walk around and recognize everybody like I used to, but, It's still pure baseball, and I don't know how many people over the years I've told, if you have one chance to go to Jupiter, don't pass on it. Just absolutely do not pass on it. If you love baseball, even if you're just a parent or a fan or have no direct connection to any of these teams, come to Jupiter and celebrate baseball for 4 or 5 days.
Kind of a horse out there, by the way. Chris Perez just grinding through. He's at 85 pitches. As we've talked about, it's been work. It's been a grind. It hasn't been beautiful. He did have a 5-6 pitch inning in the 4th, but otherwise, it's been fun to watch him push through a game like this.
And seeing a pitcher at this time of year on that type of pitch ability to pitch deep into the games is pretty rare. But for a team like Lone Star, if you're looking at their big picture, their desire, want to get to the playoffs, want to have some success in the playoffs, they are short rostered with primary pitchers. I think they only have 6 on their roster, so getting a full, potentially 6-inning outing from their big left-handed primary outfielder is of vital importance when they're looking at the big picture.
Evan Taveras draws the walk to start things. And we keep noticing a little bit of what the infielders are noticing. There are some carts behind home plate that when they go to turn on or off their carts, they're turning their lights on. And again, infielders have said we don't need those lights. So just something that makes this different than the usual baseball game you're watching at home. We'll just put it that way.
And trust me, who's ever driving that cart behind home plate with all the carts around him, that's akin to wanting to change 2 lanes on the interstate to take an exit. It's like, no, you are not in position to do that. You put your cart there, you let it stay there this game.
Things get interesting. We'll put it that way as someone who navigates his cart, who, by the way, I showed up this morning and my cart had been taken.
Yeah, I was shocked.
Somebody helped themselves to one of our broadcast carts.
There is cart etiquette.
Yeah, don't take someone else's cart.
That would be number 1 on the list. The second piece of etiquette is if you're a team that has 4 carts and you have 14 scouts, or a PG staff that has the same, you never give your key to somebody else.
Yeah, good point.
You keep your key.
You got this. Come on, bud.
Good point. Hundreds and hundreds of carts, hundreds of scouts, college coaches. 1 and 2 the count, by the way, on Jack Waddingham. Jack is 0 for 2. And did he hold up on that breaking ball? Runner takes off. And he got him. Good pitch. Stolen base, but a strikeout.
As we see Perez get up, take another look at this breaking ball, one of his better ones. The pitch smart rules dictate that you cannot start a batter with 105 or more pitches.
Okay.
So Perez getting into the last probably 15 pitches of his outing. I heard the number this morning to finish off the golf cart discussion that they made 700 golf carts available for rent, and all 700 were sold out.
Wow. No wonder someone helped themselves to mine.
But then you think there's 12 fields and 700 golf carts. So you just do the math. That's like 55 carts of field.
Hurtado. It's a bouncing ball on a backhand. The play is made by the second baseman. Throw a little bit low, but an out nonetheless. It's Miguel Gonzalez ranging over. Tavares moves to third for 3 on the ground out. 2 away, runner at third for Power Baseball. Well, there's your outing. And Perez, as we said, pushed his way through in this outing and kept grinding and kept grinding. He did a really, really nice job.
A lot to be proud of there for Perez and his family and teammates. And he said the ability to grind without maybe having his best location, but his ability to get out of jams was notable. And just a great outing, something I'm sure everybody is very happy with on that Lone Star bench.
Luke McLeod grabs the rock. He goes to work. We'll tell you more about him. We'll pause for just a minute. 3-2 the score. Power Baseball on top in Jupiter. Aiden Klein gets the call, the right-handed pitcher. Ivy High School from Ingram, Texas. He's a 2024, so Klein will go to work. funny thing that is going on. We need some athletic tape. And I'll tell you why. We've got a number 6 at short in Cason Cunningham. We've got a number 6 in right in Luke McLeod. And we've got a number 6 on the mound in Aiden Klein. We could let Cunningham, no, let's let Luke keep his 6. He's been the hero so far of this game. We need to make Cason 16 with that athletic tape, and we need to make Klein 61.
Something.
Are you okay with all that?
I'm okay, very okay with it.
3 6s. Welcome to Jupiter. 3 6s.
Maybe Lone Star's retired a lot of numbers like the Yankees or something, and they're running out. I don't know.
Kalinick now takes the pitch low and away. We've got 3 6s. Hey, Chris Perez, who wore 72. That's a gutsy job by the left-hander. You said when your team isn't quite as deep, you sell out just a little bit as that one dives low.
Klein's got a strong right arm, not big at 5'11", 170, but it's been up to 89 this summer. 23 strikeouts and 15 perfect game innings.
Pool play for these teams today, Thursday, tomorrow, Friday, and then Saturday. Where do you stand in your pool? Are you moving into consolation games? Are you moving into championship journeys? Every game, every inning seems to matter for your placement. You want to play meaningful games as late as you can. Broke his bat, lazy fly ball down in center field. What a big RBI coming through. Michael's been on twice today, has also done a nice job when called upon. Lined out hard to right, had a base hit taken away a couple of innings ago. Kalinick with a hit.
I mentioned at the top of the broadcast that he always performs when I'm around, and he's certainly performed today. Had a 10-pitch at bat for a walk, hit a rifle to right field. Not obviously his best contact, but the bat died and as a hero with that RBI single.
Slider for strike one, and did it ever to Cooper Collins. Collins, we were reminded with his bunt single last time he was up that he can flat fly. Really good speed, but he's in the hole. 0-2. No balls and 2 strikes to count on Cooper. The Davidson College commit, so he's recently made that commitment. Collins pokes that one foul. Congratulations on that. I know he'd been uncommitted for quite some time. I think our graphic even says that, but he's headed to Davidson. He'll put pen to paper here pretty soon on signing day.
When is signing day today, this year?
David, it's sometime in November.
Okay.
There's my answer for you.
I thought that might have come up on the PG Weekly College show or something.
Let's look on the interwebs.
Because you talk, as we get in depth, when you're at the PG National, PG All-American game, all those players are committed as that is hit to center field for out number 3. November 8th, we are told, Darren, is the start of the signing period for baseball players.
So there you go. He'll be committing to Davidson that day. His team's down 4-2. Good. I've been coming, maybe as long as you, but for sure as long as I've been coming, kind of gives it that town fair feel to it.
Oh, no doubt about it. And of course, the tower there right above where all the food is the war room, so to speak, of the whole event, where PG staff gathers and decisions are made and organization is created.
You know what decisions are made? The kind of decision you made earlier to never talk about weather unless you have to. You made the point earlier that we're not allowed to talk about weather. You just don't like that, don't do it. And I'm sure they don't up in that tower unless they have to. We hope to have good days here at this event as far as that's concerned. I never thought I'd find myself avoiding a word at David's advice. Scott tries to bunt his way on. So time to go to work for Lone Star here in the bottom of the 6th inning. They'll get, I think the clock is still on their side, 2 more runs at it.
Yeah, right now we're at 12:28, so we just need to get through this inning in, 13 minutes to start the 7th inning.
Well, that's interesting then.
Yeah, it's not a given, but at the pace of the game so far.
So if I'm to use your logic and to understand the rules, this is an opportunity for this Lone Star team just to win the game.
Yeah, I mean, if
play
they have
15, play 15 minutes and go ahead, you win.
Exactly. That you summarized it perfectly.
But a breaking ball gets a swing and a miss. He loves that slider, doesn't he? And it's a good one.
It's a good one. I think he tunnels it really well at the fastball. They're not recognizing velocity difference. And it stays short and tight, which, as I said, used to be the bywords for slider evaluation. Short and tight. You're basically trying to fool the hitter into thinking it's a fastball, and it's not. It gets off the barrel, it gets off the plate, and creates swing and miss just like that.
His older sis Bellhorn, by the way, is Caitlin. She's 21 years old. Just the 2 of them at home as that one is fouled off. Sage Sanders walked and scored back in the 4th and struck out looking.
Sage had himself a really good PG National out at Chase Field back in July. All barrels. I don't remember the exact performance, but he must have had 4 or 5 barrels there and really showed out well with the bat.
Sanders couldn't make the play on the backhand, so that's a well-struck base hit into right field. Snuck it right by Thomas Bly. That was a bolt. That would have been a spectacular play by Thomas.
Yeah. There's another barrel for Sanders.
Hey, you called it, didn't you?
Yeah. Looked like a fastball that got looking to throw it up, got it more right over the plate, and pretty much ate up Bly at first base.
Vandy commit A.J. DiPaolo now with a chance to extend things. Again, you're down a pair. The clock, David's going to keep an eye on that unofficially for us. 2-hour time limit of these games. Breaking ball popped foul off to the right side by A.J.
And again, as a point of emphasis, that is, it's not a drop dead 2 hours. It's a you cannot start an inning after 2 hours. And again, with emphasis on my timing is not the official time.
Understood, understood. DiPaolo's dad, Rich, played college hockey at the Air Force Academy. His mom was a college golfer. And 3 of his 4 sisters cheered competitively at Ole Miss, Louisville, and now Texas Tech. Sister Julia cheering at Texas Tech. As I told you earlier, AJ in that unique position of Jessica, Rachel, Sarah, and Julia, all older sisters. Some closer in age in their early 20s. Rocket, and it's foul. Towards our unique broadcast booth on the third base side.
We may get one over the course of the next 5 days.
I would have to sneak over the fence and then get down below, but you never know.
Yeah, the nature though of if a right-hander's hitting it, it's going to have topspin.
Yes.
So that will help it get in on us. A left-hander's not going to be as hard hit, so it will also have some downward action to it. So the fence, it's not an illusion, but it may not help.
Jackson Bellhorn, did he balk that time? Yeah, he kind of jumped. which runs the clock a little bit, David. I'm thinking along with you.
I was thinking the same thing, but
bell horn against AJ, and a nice job keeping it in front by Tavares. And Apollo, his favorite player to watch play is Mookie Betts. He says he was amazing with the Red Sox, continues to be with the Dodgers. His words, he plays the game the right way. I loved what AJ said, by the way, when I asked him, if I give you an hour, that's it, to train each day, what would it be? He said 30 minutes hitting, 30 lifting and plyometrics.
okay. Big pitch here, 2-2, runner in scoring position.
Big pitch, big swing, down the line, but it's foul. Well, that would have been extra bases, scoring a run, and putting a runner in scoring position.
Yeah, that would have put a completely different slant on this bottom of the 6th inning.
Unofficially, I'm going with David's words, about 8 minutes to play with. It's become something I'm really into now, David.
Well, it's one of those things, if you're a coach, it can bite you in two ways. You know, there are ways for the power baseball coaches to slow this game down.
Right.
But if that happens, Lone Star could end the game and be ahead.
Line drive, fair ball. That will play to run. Is it an extra base hit? AJ stumbles a bit coming around the bag. It's a one-run game. 4-3 is the score. 1 out. What did it bat by DePaulo?
You could just feel that DePaulo had him timed after that hard hit foul ball. He got another pitch down there in the zone right where he wanted it. Who's that in left field? That's a good defensive play, because runner on second base with a one-run ball game is a whole lot different than a runner at first. And
Maddox McDougal's out there.
Okay, Maddox McDougal, nice play getting over quickly, made an accurate throw in.
Luke McLeod at one point gave his team the lead earlier in this game with a base hit to right field. He is the right fielder, and he pops that one foul and out of play. 0-1 the count to Luke.
Kind of interesting. DePaulo, a catcher, leaving him out there, no pinch runner in. So the Lone Star coaches must have confidence in his speed and base running ability.
Apollo's out there at first. Luke with the bat in his hands, hitting now. Lone Star team out of Austin, Texas. Power out of the Orlando area. And they won the summertime 17U WWBA. Sellout swing, and he was late on that one as he pops it foul. 0-2 the count.
Power just sent a couple arms down to the bullpen to get loose. Kind of the same at bat as he had the first time when he produced the two RBI double. McLeod staying patient, looking mostly opposite field, spoils outside strikes. You almost want him to come inside on this. If he's so focused middle away, if Bellhorn can throw a fastball in the inner half, might get a nice double play ground ball.
Instead, it's rolled foul. Runner was going, trying to avoid that. Four to 3 the score. These two teams have combined for 11 hits. Fastball has lived 85, 86, up to 87 miles an hour from this right-hander. Really good slider that he believes in. And on On 0-2, tries to paint the outside corner, but just missed.
Tavares must have lined up outside on that.
1-2. Can McLeod be a hero again? Close. Antonio Pinzone out in the field. That last fastball, by the way, 86 miles an hour that just missed. Boy, that was very close. They go back to work. That one popped up to the right side. If that were a big league play, I'd be reviewing that one. 87 miles an hour in the last fastball. Got him set for a slider, doesn't he?
I still think something inside. Slider inside half, gets you a ground ball to shortstop.
Keep an eye on the runner. They nearly picked him off a moment ago. Catcher DePaulo out there at first. He takes off. It's a slider. He hung it, and he fouled it off. And unofficially, about 3 minutes to go, and we may be playing the final inning here. Again, our clock's not the official one.
No, that's kept behind home plate by a PG staff member.
1-2 the count. Spoils a pitch down and away.
I know how McLeod has that, averaging a walk a game this year. His ability to foul pitches off. Interesting, DePaulo at first. Some pitches he's running, some pitches he's not running. There he goes.
Going now, bouncing ball, slips right on through, and cutting on across to make the play is Buffalo, the shortstop. Hit too softly to be a double play either way. Colby DeMars has a chance to tie this game up. Some heroic swings this inning. Have you noticed that? Some bigger swings than we're used to seeing.
And all we really need right here, outfield's playing pretty far back. Right fielder way off the line, and left fielder playing pretty deep. Center fielder, medium depth. And Reyes is breaking at anything that's starting a swing, so he's a good bet to score on any base hit out of the infield. You just feel the whole pace of the game just slowed down from pitch to pitch.
Boy, it really has.
Everybody's hanging on every pitch now.
And we'll see. We're at the time where, according to what we've seen, that the next inning might not start, but we'll see again what is decided. Chases up in the zone. It's been good curveballs, good sliders. They're aware of it, and then he elevates, and he gets a commitment. DeMars walked, was stranded, also lined to left field. Jackson Bellhorn grinding out there. His team up just one now. Over the top of a breaking ball. That is strike 3. And as far as time goes, we watch to see, are they shaking hands or are they playing defense? Taking a peek, everyone looking in.
I think we're shaking hands, Darren.
And that's the ball game in pool play. They would have loved to